We're back. Season 2, Episode 1. Rules of the Court. Yeah. We decided to pick this back up again. I'm back for my master's degree. I did graduate in May. So did Valeria, right? We did it.
Yeah.
And now we're back.
Yeah.
Both getting our master's degrees. Getting mine in legal studies, and yours is in communications. So, yeah. We got a little bit of extra time here at the university, and we thought we might as well continue what we started, report on the sport law news, specifically that of college, what's going on in the world of collegiate sports, and report on the Prairie Stars, too, see how they're doing. A lot of action. There was a lot of action that we missed over the summer, obviously. A lot of big stuff happened in the courtroom, on the court. We had the Olympics. The NBA Finals wrapped up while we were gone. We had the Champions League wrap up when we were gone. But regardless, we're back. And I don't think the plan is to try to recap everything that we missed. The plan for this episode is to go over the one big thing that happened over the summer in the courtroom, which was, well, first, House versus NCAA was the case, was the kind of the big case that was happening, where the NCAA was being challenged. Well, the NCAA and a lot of the big conferences, so the SEC, the ACC, the Big Ten, Pac-12? No, those are the ones, I don't know. But a bunch of big conferences were being sued by former athletes and others alike for what they believe should be retro pay for. It's a combination of different suits, actually. So it's one like that where those athletes believe that they should receive retro pay for the NIL deals that they lost out on from not being able to receive NIL back in the time when they could play. There's another case in there that isn't specifically House, but they're using House as the kind of umbrella case that's being ruled on by the same judge in California that ruled on the case that got sent to the Supreme Court, which led to the legalization of NIL. But House is is the big case there that's in discussion, along with other cases that have to do with how collectives and what are they called? Collectives for colleges and how they're able to pay student athletes directly for NIL to play for their school. So basically, a pay for play, and that was the big one out of Tennessee, because Tennessee was the state that filed the injunction that got the NCAA to stop basically like being over the shoulder, saying that they can't do this. It's like, no, you can't punish our collectives. They can do whatever they want with their money. It's their money. If you're saying that our student athletes can get NIL deals, why are they restricted from getting NIL deals from our collectives? Mm-hmm. They don't technically work for the university, but their interest is the university. So that's their argument there, and that's developed into a lawsuit against the NCAA and whether collectives can do that, which kind of creates us. Well, we'll get into all that later. But essentially, all of those cases are being argued under one, or I guess the settlement for all those cases were being discussed at the same table and with the same judge, and they came to a settlement, the two sides, the plaintiffs and the NCAA and all their big conferences, and they said, okay, this is what's going to happen. We're going to do this. And then they took it to the court, and they took it to the judge. All right, judge, we said that we're going to do this. They're agreeing, we're agreeing. And the judge basically said, nah, try again. Like, go back to the conference table and renegotiate stuff, because it's too ambiguous here. There's not enough answers here. We don't know how this is going to happen here. What does this mean, later on for this group of people or this group of people? And I think they're very valid questions, but I think it just really was like a shock to both sides. Like, oh, we got to... Because if they don't come up with something, then they got to go to court. Mm-hmm. And then, something serious could happen. You go back to the Supreme Court, and we can have a whole nother Alston case that, comes out of the Supreme Court. And this might end up being the case that essentially finally decides that student athletes are employees of the university at a particular level. We'll get into that later. But anyway, let's rewind. Where are we? We're at UAS. We're not at the national level yet. Um, let's talk about the Prairie Stars. There's a lot of stuff going on this week. This past Wednesday, thanks a lot, dude. It's Friday, September the 6th, but this past Wednesday, the U.S. Golf men's team were able to finish ninth at the Arc Cup. I would assume this was in St. Louis.
Mm. Because of the big arc.
No.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because of the Arc. But yeah, they did all right. It was a field of 12 teams. They recorded on an 18-hole total of 592 strokes. Jury ended up winning the whole thing, followed by Missouri S&T and Rockhurst. Some of the guys that played for the team score were Jake Baldwin, who led the Prairie Stars that day, or I guess over those 2 days, with the being, I guess, tying for 22nd. He ended up shooting 145 over the 2 days, 75 on the first day, 70 on the second day. Then we had Francisco Aba tied for 33rd, Daniel Edwards, Sacha Lamarski, both tied for 36th, and then Charlie Prinz completed the UIS team effort, tied for 63rd. So yeah, golf is a hard sport. I should know. I suck at it. And then for other Prairie Stars who competed as individuals, we had Julian Babinow, who tied for 25th place with 149 strokes, and then followed by Brady Wilson, tied for 33rd. Shahatat New Song tied for 53rd. Thomas Booman tied for 61st, and then Liu tied for 71st place. So honestly, there were a couple of good days in here for the guys. Brady Wilson had an amazing day his second day. He shot a 69. That's impressive. But with that, their season's off to a pretty good start. Ninth. We got to keep building from there. Only up from here. Now, here's something that I think is pretty cool. The volleyball girls are in Texas right now. They competed in their first game earlier today at like 11 in the morning. And they ended up sweeping, trying to get the scores up here. They ended up sweeping their first set against Purdue Northwest. I was paying attention to this game earlier, and if my memory serves me correctly, this is not the game that I wanted to look at. All right, I found it. Yeah. This new outside here, we got McKenna Cox. She is a beast, dude. On 32 attacking attempts, she had 22 kills and only 2 errors. She had a 0.625 kill percent, which is insane. With 7 digs, 22.5 points for the team. Yeah, wow.
Nice.
Marini had a good game too. She had 9 kills off 19 attempts. 5 digs for her. Nice. 4 aces. Oh yeah, she's a good server. 13 points for her and 13 points for Anna Lancic. I believe also a new player on the team this year. But yeah, this is a squad with a lot of firepower. Because you have Anna almost matching Irini in kills today. Anna had 7, Irini had 9. And then McKenna going off with 22. Are you kidding me? That's that's a crazy good squad. And then Erica is back with 37 assists over just that one game against, or this one game against Purdue Northwest. Oh yeah, we swept them. In 3 games, 25-20, 25-20, and then 15-12. So yeah, this is gonna be a really fun team to watch. They have another game later today at 4:30. I'm gonna be paying attention to that. See what happens. I was getting some feedback from Arini earlier today about how the team was playing and how they're doing, and she's really feeling the squad. She really likes them. Um,
Shout out Rini.
yep. Um, I kind of want to see some of these other players get in this next game. I want to see Gabby in. I want to see Haley in. Gabby's a killer. Gabby can put a hole through a ball. But yeah, this is a squad with a lot of firepower. I just have like one question about their opposite side hitter. Arini told me it was. Oh yeah, it was Anna. Anna coming off the opposite side with the 7 kills. So we got Anna coming off the opposite side, and then Arini and McKenna both outside hitters. I'm pretty sure it's usually Carly Michaels up the middle. So and then Erica obviously a setter. Yeah, that's a fun team to watch. They have a game later today. Like I said, I'm gonna find a way to watch that one. I think, or at least pay attention to the stats like I did this game. But yeah. Hopefully we'll be back with more good news next week on how they did at the Hilltopper Classic. Now this past Thursday, um, the women's soccer team played in their second game.
Mm.
No, I think this is the first game of the season. I think the other game was a what's it called? A scrimmage. Yeah, they played Finlay, University of Finlay. I don't know where that is. Um, but they ended up tying 1-1 in what looks like the first game of the season. Um, yeah, they ended up scoring, or the Stars scored in the 23rd minute. Scored by from the back from the defender Anna Schurz, netting her first goal of the season. Wow,
Nice.
defender scoring. You like to see that. The OIS took 9 shots in total with 6 on target, keeping a consistent pressure on Finlay's defense. Finlay equalized in the 79th minute. Ooh, you gotta hate those late minute goals. As whoever scored, converting one of the 4 shots on goal. Yeah, no free press for the Finlay whatevers. Our goalkeeper Allison Miriamanian, sorry if I messed it up, made 6 key saves to preserve the draw. Which nice, 6 key saves. UAS saw strong performances from Mallory Herbert, Abby Delamarte, and Emily Tully, who helped create offensive opportunities despite late changes both teams either could secure. I mean, it seems like a pretty defensive forward game. I'm fairly confident in this team's defense. For the last 2 3 years, that's kind of been a focal point of the women's team is having a strong defense, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. They got some good anchors on defense. They got Anna back there. They got what's her name? They have Emma back there. Yeah, they got a good squad. And then our goalie's rock solid too. So yeah. And then today we had some track and field stuff. Well, cross country actually. Excuse me. The U.S. cross country team were hosting the Hy-Vee Prairie Star Invitational. Um, the Hy-Vee Prairie Star Invitational is today, Friday, the 6th. The women's 5K race kicked off at 5:30 p.m., which is about 2 hours from now, followed by the men's 7K race at 6:15 p.m. at the U.S. cross country course. So yeah, they'll be running around campus for a little bit. Just running in circles and stuff, see who wins,
Right.
see who's faster. The event is held on U.S. cross country course. Will feature competitive races for both men's and women's teams. The U.S. men's and women's cross country teams swept the meet at the start of the 23 season, and we're looking to do that again this season. Let's go. Run fast, run smooth. You guys got this. I believe in you guys. Yeah. Now looking forward, what's coming up? What's today? Today's Friday the 6th. So tomorrow the women's volleyball team has 2 games again. They play Newman University at 11:30 in the morning, and then they play St. Edward's University at 7 p.m. for what I believe is their last game in Texas before they come home.
What was it?
That's how I read. I just learned not so long ago, so give me a break.
Oh, interesting.
And then this Sunday, the 8th, at 1 p.m., we have a women's soccer game versus the University of Central Missouri. That's going to be a home game, so be there, be square. I probably will not be there because I work. Um, and then at 1:30, men's soccer at Purdue Northwest, so that's an away game. Still cheering on the Stars from afar. You guys got this. Let's go, boys. Let's go, lads. Score a million goals, bruv. I miss those
Right.
guys. I miss hanging out with those guys.
They're still here.
Yeah, but
But that era.
yeah,
Junior
that was
year.
a different time.
Yeah.
That was a good time. That was a fun time. That's when we still had
That's
Luis.
amazing. Luis is coming back next week.
I'm not gonna be here next week.
Oh my god.
Why
You're
did this?
such a
Why?
loser.
Why do you act like this is news every time I tell you? You know I'm not gonna be here for
Because
Luis's
you're such a
comeback.
loser.
Yeah, I was talking with Jose about it. He said that he's gonna make us some chants for Luis.
Yeah.
So when we're there, you gotta help him
Me?
get the crowd riled up.
Yeah.
Let Luis know he's welcome back home. I can't wait. I missed their last game that was here, which I think was a scrimmage anyway. But I gotta make it to a couple games this season for men's and women's soccer, and then obviously I'm gonna try to go to every game that I can for volleyball. And yeah, other than that, that's what we have going on with the Prairie Stars. Oh, actually, no, that's not everything that's going on with the Prairie Stars, because we actually have some pretty big news that is not breaking news by any means necessary, or any means
At all.
by any means at all, dude. Because this is about 4 months late. But we got a new athletic director finally, Mr. Mike Herman. He was instated as the athletic director. He began his job June 17th. Brings more than 18 years of experience as a director of athletics in various NCAA, oh, I guess at two NCAA institutions, Niagara University and Townsend University. He served as a director of athletics at Kansas Wesleyan University and a IA program where in 2019 he was named the National Association of Collegiate Directors of Athletics Under Armour Athletic Director of the Year. Wow, that was hard to read. He also held a senior athletic leadership roles at Old Dominion University, Norfolk State University, Seattle University, Xavier University, and with the Horizon League. So yeah, that's Mr. Mike Herman. We hope to get him on the program one of these days to interview him. Just see what his outlook is for the Prairie Stars. What he learned in the various places where he got his experience from. Just really get to know the guy that's going to be running our athletics program for the foreseeable future. At least I hope for the next 2 years that I'm here. So we have someone to, look to point to and, be that connection point between the student body and the athletics office. That I think kind of, from what I've seen so far, is kind of rejuvenated now that we have someone in that office with experience and from what it seems like with the really good game plan. So I'm excited to get in touch with him and hopefully bring him in for an interview so we can get to know the guy a little bit better. So that's Mr. Mike Herman. Welcome to the Prairie. So now not the one big thing that happened over the summer, but I guess the one big thing that happened over the summer within the space of college sports is the House versus NCAA settlement that happened. When it's not just the House case, but it's also, where is it? It's three separate cases: House, Hubbard, and Carter versus NCAA, and they're all antitrust cases. And this is from an ESPN article. The NCAA, its Power Five conferences and attorneys representing all Division I athletes agreed in May to settle three major antitrust lawsuits that threaten to upend the business model of college sports. The defendants agreed to pay roughly 2.7. I think the number is actually like 2.8 billion, so closer to 2.78, closer to 2.8 billion dollars in damages to current and former athletes. The parties also agreed to a forward-looking system that will allow for schools to directly pay athletes via NIL deals up to a limit. Let's keep that in mind, which is expected to be between 20 million to 23 million per school next year, and would rise on an annual basis. I think I saw that it would reach a ceiling of about like $35 million. So this is essentially what would be a salary cap for schools, starting out at 20 million, capping out at, I want to say it was like 35 or 36 million within a few years. And in exchange, the NCAA would have far more leeway in enforcing its rules. It says are designed to protect competitive balance among schools and preserve what makes college sports unique. So that was what the settlement originally said, and then they went to the judge, and the judge said, "Hold on, what?" Yeah. This is from the same article. A federal judge ordered that the attorneys negotiating the major settlement that could reshape the business model of college sports to go back to the drawing board to resolve concerns she had about how the deal would limit the ways in which boosters can provide money to athletes. So I think the big thing here, in what we talked about, is that essentially the NCAA wants to still maintain control of how students can get their money by having that, what basically would be a salary cap of beginning at 20 million all the way up to whatever in the near future. And if you think about it this way, I mean, obviously not every collegiate athlete is looking for a professional athlete salary, but if you think about how like an NFL's salary cap or a MLB, I don't think the MLB has a salary cap, or the NBA salary cap are all like 10 times that. You could easily find a school paying $5 million for, a 5-star quarterback, and that leaves you with however much for the rest of your team. And if that were the case, then this is like almost, yeah, it's pretty much a salary cap. So you're almost like at the point where you got to have some kind of collective bargaining agreement for all of your athletes. And then if that's the case, you might as well just recognize them as employees of the university. And I think that's kind of what the judge is hinting at here, is that well, if you want to limit how they can get their money, because that's what I feel like her point was in stopping them and talking about boosters and saying that, well, why can't, why are we limiting the way that boosters can give the students money? I think they should be more free to take money from whomever. Because at the end of the day, if the students are subjected to, however much the school can pay them, then they work for the school.
Yeah.
Then they're employees of the school. But if they're not, if that's what the schools are trying to say they aren't, then why are you limiting their way in which they can create revenue from their own name, image, and likeness?
Yeah.
So, Judge Claudia Wilkin declined. This is the same judge I said ruled on that other case previously. I forget the name of that case, but it was very important, I promise. Claudia Wilkin declined to grant preliminary approval to the House via NCAA antitrust settlement Thursday. She was concerned with multiple parts of the terms of the deal. Chief among her worries was the clause that will require any money boosters provide to athletes be for valid business purpose. So basically, the NCAA wanted to make it harder on boosters to give the students money, or give the students money to go play for their school. If there was no valid business purpose to giving them money. So like if I can't just give you $100,000 to come play for UIS, and at the end of the day, your end of the deal is just come play for UIS. It has to be like, no, here's $100,000, but you got to advertise my ice cream parlor, whatever, or you got to advertise my barbershop.
Yeah.
The NCAA is saying no, you have to have something connected to it like that, where the student is essentially working for their money. And I remember reading somewhere that the judge said that, well, if Mr. Fan wants an athlete to come play for the university that they donate to and that they have a special interest in, wouldn't having them come play for their university to help them win be enough of a valid business purpose? Almost in every single case. But yeah, So that's kind of where that's where she has an issue with this. Um,
I think she's right.
I think so too. During the past several years, booster collectives have evolved to provide payments to athletes that, on paper, are payments for the use of the player's name, image, and likeness. But practice has served as de facto salaries. The settlement terms would make it easier for the NCAA to eliminate these payments. What are we going to do about this? Wilkin asked. I found that taking away things from people usually makes it not too popular. So yeah, if you make it harder on them to do it, then they're going to find even more mischievous ways to do it. So just pay the kids or let them, or recognize them as employees of the university. And then from then on, we have to negotiate some kind of protective collective bargaining agreement for these athletes to make sure that, no one's getting screwed over. And they could still, I feel like even then, they would still have to find out a way to allow them leeway to make money, again, through their own name, image, and likeness. Because if, let's say, they allow the universities to have that $20 to $35 million salary cap, I think that beyond that, the students should still be able to have like advertiser sponsors and things like that, like a regular professional athlete does. And in that case, I feel like similar to how like the rights of any citizen, this is how I think the NCAA should see it. I think the NCAA should see these deals as how we see the justice system, and affording representation to people that can't necessarily have or afford legal representation in the court of law. So I think the NCAA, in protecting their athletes, should have some kind of protection or some kind of something to lean back on to have a representative with them at all times in NIL negotiations or advertisement negotiations, so that these kids aren't just walking into deals blindfolded. That's what I think the NCAA should do with their spare time, is find out a way
With
to
their spare time.
with their spare time to find out a way to invest in that to protect their students, because I feel like that's the way it's going to go anyway. They're regardless of the direction that this case or this settlement ends up leaning. At the end of the day, it's going to result in these athletes being able to profit off of their name, image, and likeness without the, I wouldn't even say the oversight, because the oversight would be fine. Oversight from the NCAA is kind of what we need. We don't need the NCAA to control it, with both their hands. I think that what they need to start doing is investing into something that protects the athletes in negotiating these deals and educate them in these deals and what could and what couldn't happen, and just have something for them to lean back on when the time comes for them to sit at a negotiating table with someone that is looking to profit off of their name. So that's what I think they should be doing, but they're too busy fighting 7 lawsuits at the same time. And I think that if it ends up in the NCAA's favor, I think it could be even worse for them, because then they're going to have a lot of question about retro pay for athletes, because the payments are for, like I said, for current athletes, but also athletes that played. And I think the limit on the years that they played is 2016. So everyone prior to 2016 isn't even affected by this. You're going to have a lot of lawsuits coming from those people that played around that time that didn't necessarily make it big in the pros, but had a name in college. So I think that, yeah, I think the NCAA should just take a shift in what they're trying to do. And I've been saying that for a while. I feel like every time we talk about them, I say that they need to stop trying to fight all of this.
Yeah.
But they just keep doing it, and they're kind of just shooting themselves in the foot every time that they do. And now this judge is really making them sit back and think about what they've done, which I think is good. I wasn't a big fan of the settlement when I first heard about it, because I had a similar concern. Mine was just more concern about the fact that there was a cap being placed on what schools could pay for a student's name, image, and likeness. Because then that that told me that the NCAA still wanted to have a hand in how they handled their NIL deals and who they can handle their deals with. Um, but yeah, that's where we are today. We're waiting to hear back. I guess they're at the negotiation table again. So we gotta just keep on waiting, see what happens. But yeah, that was episode 1. Thank you.
Season 2.
But yeah, we're back. We're better than ever. We got some different content coming up too. We're working on some stuff. We're cooking some stuff up. Working on some interviews, like we said. Trying to get Mr. Mike Herman in. A couple other people, couple professors, couple athletes, maybe a coach or two. Yeah, we're cooking some stuff up. Should be a fun semester and it should be a fun program this season. And yeah, with that, we'll see you. Hopefully, maybe we don't know yet. Maybe next week. Adios.